What's up guys, it's me, Strawhead Nate, and I'm back this week with a new One Piece chapter video. This time we have chapter 1145 titled The Blaze in Branch 8's Forest Number 2. Despite the really bland and direct title, this chapter does end up getting crazy, I promise. The battles here on Elbaf all advance as the great giant warrior pirates fight against the nightmare creatures that were created from St. Killingham's devil fruit. The Gods Knights are all starting to actually deploy into battle this chapter, so we can discuss later on who is going to fight who. But it's not just fights that we're getting here, because the biggest part of the chapter in my eyes is the glimpse of the past we get, where Loki has an encounter with the infamous XEBEC. So if you want to know what this meeting between legends and tales, stay till that point in this video. Now, without further ado, let's get into the chapter after you like the video and subscribe to the channel. To start, we get to discuss two covers this week, because first, there's a promotional image for the return of the One Piece anime after a 6-month hiatus, drawn by a member of the Toei animation staff. Secondly, Oda's cover for the chapter is a continuation of the Yamato cover series like usual. This one shows Ulti and Page 1 hugging since they were just saved from Yamato, and they rejoice that they were just saved, and Yamato just stands off to the side unfazed by this. Now, to start digging into the chapter, Zoro and Sanji have an unlikely team up to start out the chapter, putting their usual beef aside, showing development in their character. Two of them, along with the giant Goldberg, are out hunting for meat and herbs to take to the unconscious Loki and maybe heal him up. And they easily take down a dinosaur known as the Graigisaurus with a combo attack between the three of them. In this quick fight, we see that Goldberg's shield has a face on it, and it's actually a homie named Nash. Goldberg explains that way back when Big Mom was a child and rampaged on Elbaf, his father's shield was turned into a homie when he clashed with Big Mom, and then the shield is passed down to him. When Sanji brings up that this is just like the homie that they have on their crew, Zeus, Nash is shocked to learn that Zeus is part of their crew, and he refers to Zeus as a high-ranking homie. We will see if these two homies end up meeting each other one day, but there are more important things to deal with right now. So, they haul this big dino corpse back to Loki and the others, and they all happen to be talking about the Gods Knights. This is Loki's excuse as to why he was taken out so easily, the beating he received from Shamrock Figarland, and the talk about these amazing, powerful fighters for the world government gets Luffy intrigued, of course. Then, the giants get to cooking that massive piece of meat from the dinosaur, which Luffy then comically shoves in the face of Loki, burning and suffocating him. Luffy doesn't really understand that most people cannot devour a big slab of meat in one bite, because that's just what Luffy usually does when he eats meat. And then Loki makes another mistake and asks for the soup, and Luffy comes running in with a big boiling bowl of soup, and then he spills it all over Loki. So Luffy is clearly not good at the healing and caretaking field, but Gerd gives him a thumbs up because it caused Loki, which they all hate, to suffer even more. Now, to the point, Loki is asked by Luffy about Shanks, but he says that he isn't technically free yet, so he can't live up to his promise of telling him about Shanks. But he understands Luffy's admiration for a great pirate. That is because he looked up to a great pirate himself. That's when we are treated to a brief backstory showing the time when Loki tried to join the pirate crew of the infamous XEBEC. A young Loki asks to join the crew, is quickly denied by Xebec, so then he asks to challenge him, but Xebec quickly defeats the young giant. We see here that XEBEC has no qualms even about gravely injuring or killing an innocent child, since this is the way he defeated Loki, with a sword lodged into him. Most pirates like Shanks would at least go easy on a kid, but I guess not the evil XEBEC. Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard, who is part of XEBEC's crew, doesn't necessarily approve of the way he went too hard on the kid, but XEBEC doesn't really care about his crewmate's opinion. Then we switch gears, ending the backstory and showing the giant warrior pirates led by Dory and Bragi basically steamrolling the nightmare monsters created from the nightmares of the children. They're even a little confused by these monsters because they see the Loki one, but they know it's definitely not the Loki that they are familiar with. On board the Great Eric, Skapar Gaban helps out. He swings his axes off the side of the ship, easily taking care of the fake Loki monster. Gaban, looking in the distance after he defeats him, monologues that there are 3 of them now, referring to the God's Knights, of course, and he's definitely sensing them with powerful hockey. Now we see the Elbaf firefighter unit trying but failing to distinguish the fires that are raging in front of the sleepwalking children. Saul, who has off-screened the Fenrir monster already, is yelling and begging for these giants to hurry up, but the water pressure just isn't strong enough to distinguish the fires and save the kids. Saul cries for them to do something and save the kids, but meanwhile, Gunko and Summers are on a branch above, looking down on the scene. Gunko looks down on the kids with sort of amusement from the fact that they are marching straight towards their deaths, which is an unexpectedly dark outlook for Gunko, who I'm still holding out hope for that she is a traitor of the world government. In a super suspenseful scene, the firefighters are all panicking, Saul is panicking, St. Summers is laughing, but in comes a hero to save the day. With an attack called Sea Cloud Current Shoulder Throw, Jinbei miraculously and epically distinguishes all of the fire in front of the kids, since he and his group, the Colin Pirates, were flying by. Nami, Brooke, and Usopp cheer in joy up on the ship that was flying by, and the firefighters and Saul are flabbergasted by the power of Jinbei. Robin and Chopper, who are overlooking from the side, know that this water attack must have come from Jinbei, even though they didn't actually get to see him. And Colin laughs with Jinbei, telling him how great that attack was, and he's thankful that he saved his friends from school. But good things all rapidly come to an end when Gunko, the God's Knight, lands on the helm of their ship with a very serious and stern face. Who knows if the Straw Hats here on the ship are enough to even deal with the threat of Gunko. We'll have to wait and see, because that's where this chapter ends, and there is a break next week too, unfortunately. This was a jam-packed chapter with scenes from basically everyone, for people who want hype fights, for people who want lore and backstory, and for people who want nail-biting suspense. We can't forget that we saw Zoro and Sanji working together in this chapter. We saw the legendary XEBEC showing off his brutality, and most importantly, we saw Jinbei as a hero for the kids on Elbaf. Gunko arriving to the scene is really scary for the group because I doubt that they're cut out to face her, but Brooke happens to be on the ship with the other Straw Hats, so maybe this causes complications, since we know from last chapter that Gunko is a huge fan of Brooke. I predict that Gunko will fight this group, while the other 2 God's Knights will go and fight other groups of Straw Hats on the island. We suspiciously didn't even see St. Killingham in this chapter, so maybe he is on his way to go down to the underworld to fight Luffy, perhaps. The battle between dreams and dreams. So if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to show your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.